Thank you, Senator. Our second speaker also has been a national leader in education and children's issues for many decades of public service that he has provided to our nation. He's a leader here in Congress, and he's chair of the Education and Labor Committee, Congressman George Miller.
Thank you. Governor Barnes, Governor Thompson, and members of the Commission, thank you so very much for all of your work, all of your time, and all of your expertise and your recommendations. This is a wonderful follow-on to the passage of No Child Left Behind 5 years ago, when this Congress and this nation made a decision that, in fact, we were no longer going to engage in a policy that left children behind, and that we were no longer going to engage in a policy where good enough was good enough. It simply is not good enough for America's children. It's not good enough for America's economy, and it's not good enough for America's civil society. And we made that determination, and we passed No Child Left Behind, and we passed it with overwhelming bipartisan support. And since that time, we have engaged in the longest-running debate in this country about the future of the education of our children, about our economic competitiveness, about the integration of our society in a very diverse society that's being challenged every day. And that's important, because this is much more than an Andy Warhol minute where everybody gets their 15 minutes rather. This has been about a national conversation. And at the center of that conversation is how do we make sure that, in fact, No Child Left Behind is a catalyst for that change, a catalyst for the improvement of education, and a catalyst for the success of our children. And this report by the Aspen Commission is a very, very important ingredient to that. When the rumors started that they might consider commissioning a report and take a look at the implementation and the future of No Child Left Behind, it was very important and very exciting, because this would be an independent commission, it would be bipartisan, and it would have the ability to roam where maybe other organizations don't. And because of that, they've brought back to us a very challenging set of recommendations. Thank you for the challenge. We appreciate it. Don't leave town too quickly. We need your continued help. But that's really what it is about. It's not standing pat and saying we passed No Child Left Behind and it's perfect. It's not perfect. There's a lot of change. Many in this room and across the country have been involved in those discussions. Now is the time for the reauthorization. Congressman McKean started the reauthorization process last year with our first set of hearings. And we're going to continue that process to make this a very public process, so that we can have an airing in this country of how we address those persistent problems of dropouts and closing the achievement gap in the performance of poor and minority children in this country, and how we achieve a system of excellence that allows America to move forward and continue to be competitive for the next 50 or 100 years. Finally, I would just say this. This report cannot be ignored, and the reauthorization of No Child Left Behind cannot be ignored. The charge that the Commission is making to us is to try and get it right and try and make it work. And the reason that we must do that is there's a very interesting convergence taking place in this country. That when we start to examine where America is and where America needs to go, almost all of those examinations, whether it's in our economic competitiveness, whether it's in the development of our intellectual properties, whether it's in the innovation in American society and throughout the world, they come back to education. And when we look at the social sciences, about how we continue to foster democracy in a very and growing diverse society in the United States of America, we come back to education. So education, once again, is back in the place of being the cornerstone from which we build the future of American society. And I just want to say that I think that the recommendations of this commission are immensely important to that process that we will carry out in the remainder of this session of Congress, so that we can get on with the reauthorization of No Child Left Behind, and we can make it work for the teachers, for the students, for the parents, for the districts, and for America. And I want to again thank you so very much for all of your hard work, all of your effort, and for your recommendations.
Thank you, Congressman Miller. Our third speaker was focused on ensuring our students were college and workplace ready before these ideas became cool, as they say, and the topic of national bestsellers and Sunday news shows. A strong advocate for children in his home state of Wyoming, ladies and gentlemen, Senator Mike Enzi.
Thank you. I too want to thank the Secretary and Governor and for their immense leadership on this. I want to thank the members of the Commission for bringing their varied backgrounds to explore this issue and see how we can improve No Child Left Behind. I appreciate the 12 hearings that they held and know that those kind of agree with the hearings that we've been holding in committee. Just last week we held a roundtable. That's where we invite in several experts and let them talk instead of us doing cute questions. And what they said agrees with what the Commission has said. So I want to thank the Commission for the specificity that they put in this. It's much easier to just do some general concepts and let it ride, and then more of what you say you can claim to have adopted. You put some tough things out there for us, and we need to examine those and get them into the practice. One of the things you have is science. This year marks the 50th year since Sputnik went into orbit and put students in America into orbit. We found out we were behind, and we did not like it. Parents objected, teachers objected, students objected. They said, we cannot be behind the Russians. And we made a major effort at that point. The Commission recommends that science now be a part of the No Child Left Behind.